see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Aslı.
Oi, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh, you wanna get sued?
Judgment, Aslı.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a-running.
Sorry for what?
But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love him when he does that.
Okay guys, sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. I got kicked off of there, so I don't think it was you guys though. I saw you guys' comments that you were saying we'll behave ourselves, but I don't think it was you guys. Hey YouTuber, good to see you guys. Good to see you, Borna Honey. I saw Robini. Good to see you, Rogue. Sorry about that, guys. But basically, like we were saying, and that was the last clip that I had for us tonight. Just basically, you know, how both of the crime scenes were contaminated. We have Ed's brother describing Lois Smart as making the worst noise that he had ever, or excuse me, making the worst sound that he had ever heard. That it was an eerie cry of pain and agony, right? And that's what he described from Lois. And I don't think we have gotten that kind of description in the Sebastian Rogers case, right? So it's very different. You know, many of the aspects are different. Of course, Sebastian was a year older, you know, when this happened. Elizabeth Smart was 14 years old. So a little bit different there. A girl versus a boy, a kidnapping versus we're suspecting foul play, right? Okay. Oh, it was it was you too, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Because I've gotten kicked off before, but I've never had to restream. So that's funny. Born a honey. I'm so glad you guys found me though back again. That's great. Oh, a policy violation? Huh. That's weird. That's weird. Okay. Huh, I'll have to check my email and see what's going on. I think YouTube might want some priorities in my opinion. Sasha, oh my goodness. Borna honey, that's funny. Well, and if anything, I will fix whatever they want me to and I'll repost it too. So that way we can, you know, do our comparison because I think it's important and I think it's valid. You know, I mean, we see an actual kidnapping, right? And then we're looking at two kids. One's parents are begging the media for help, you know, very happy to be going to vigils, to be, I mean, they even had a spokesperson, which was Ed's brother, right? Who was a spokesperson who had some media connections that they were working with. So, you know, because I know a lot of people have said in the past that, you know, it's strange for us to see a spokesperson in a missing child's case, but that's not really the truth. I think it's more often a family member that they pick to represent the family. But I found that to be interesting here too, and I completely forgot about it until I was rewatching this. Hey, Mally Cat, good to see you. Oh no, we're back to one on the thumbs up. Oh my goodness. It's just speculation, Sasha. I agree. I agree, but I think it's important to kind of look back at these different cases and compare, especially from what we saw on the America's Most Wanted. And, you know, it does happen where children have been taken out of their bedroom, right? We have people that break into homes, but we always have some sort of proof or evidence to back up what we're seeing. So, um, very, very interesting, looking back on both of these cases. Oh, maybe. See, and that's why I do play music with it, Sammy. But you're right; that might have been it too. Um, they might have scanned it maybe because I played a clip for too long. That could be it. That could be it. I'll have to go back and check. Usually, it'll like pinpoint the exact spot that they don't want you to continue playing, so I can always upload it again. Um, well, dang. Yeah, I'm guessing it was the clip was too long because usually I'll add in like more of the memes and stuff like that, but it's hard in a case like this because I don't want it to be mistaken for me like making light of a situation or something like that. Hey Shadow, good to see you. So of course I don't want to do that. Thank you, Mally Cat. Thanks for hitting the like again, you guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Um, but yeah, I just found it to be super interesting going over this and um yeah, I'm guessing it was Hey Jude. Yeah, it was probably me playing the A&E too long. And usually I'll double check these. I actually started this was going to be our Mother's Day live, but I didn't get a chance to really get to all of it, like I usually do. And then I usually will test it out to see if, I have to add or take away from anything. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you trying to get to the bottom of it because I thought it was weird. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And that's the thing. I tried to change it over, but I might not have on the last clip because it seemed to be okay for the first couple clips. And I honestly took it and moved everything around in the interviews. So, like, in that actual documentary, they were like putting Elizabeth in there saying her side of what happened as the parents were going through theirs. So I took all of that out and put it towards the end. So I'm surprised. Um, but you never know. It could just been like a little bit longer. Elizabeth Smart was 2002. So all the way back in 2002, Sammy. So long ago if we think about it. I mean, you know, that's the year I had my daughter. It's like it's just so long ago now. It seems like, you know, way, way long ago. Um, oh, Detroit Rock City says I went back to the Haley Cummings case and was comparing it to Lily and Jack. That is so messed up. Misty still never told the truth about what happened. Makes me furious. Yeah, yeah. And we see this a lot. It's kind of weird when you start comparing and then you start thinking about other cases that we could have brought into this, even with the contamination of the crime scene, like Jean-Benet Ramsey, the lying from the parents, you know, and then of course we have the dynamic of, the step parent in this scenario. But yeah, it is maddening, Detroit. And it seems like they get away with not telling the truth. Oh, is it okay, maybe a YouTube glitch? Been happening for a while. To see current number, you need to exit chat or app. Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, see, and I know sometimes when you do go out of YouTube, or like if you go out of the chat and then come back in, it'll be different. Um, do you think so? Sasha says, I feel like Jack and Lily are still alive. Yeah, and they very well could be. We don't know exactly what happened, and then I know that there was allegedly a party, right? And I'm still not comfortable speculating on it because I don't know where the source came from that said that they were the neighbor. They lived 6 minutes away, but then we find out that there weren't really neighbors that lived that close. So I'm not sure what neighbor that could have been. So it's really, I just don't want to speculate. I forget who came in and said it, but it was one of our guys that because we don't have a whole lot of guys in here all the time. It's mostly women. But one of the guys had come in and just said, Lady Freedom, there's a lot of, you know, basically that there's a lot of speculation from the beginning, and I think that everybody had a hand in kind of going with the wild speculations in the beginning. And I'd have to agree, there are things in Sebastian's case that I'd do differently if I could start all over again. Absolutely. No doubt about it. LE been botching crime scenes since 2002. Meg, I know, and we think that we could get better, right? So much better with all the technologies that we have. I mean, like the geofencing has gotten better. All of this technology has gotten so much better, and it's interesting. Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. Well, I always believed the little sister. I always believed her when she said that she saw, a man come in and take her sister. Because I know a lot of people were like, well, she's little and, she might have been half asleep. So maybe she was dreaming it or something like that. But I always did believe her sister. And I always wondered if, she was still out there somewhere. And then we find out she is. Um, you know, yeah, I know, Sasha. Sammy says, "Oh yeah, I forgot about Haley Cummings before YouTube cases had to stick with my girl Nancy on that one." Yeah, absolutely. And Nancy's covered so many, and still really does, which is really great. We need the coverage on these kids. They all deserve it. Um, yeah, I know, Sasha. It's Detroit Rock City says, I watched a psychic reading on Lily and Jack, and she strongly believes that the mother is manic and unalive them allegedly. Wow. Wow. Yeah. And, I haven't done a lot of research into Lily and Jack's mom. I have to be honest. I know that they privated a lot of their stuff, which, I can see that happening, but oh, that's true. Oh, Sammy, I forgot about OJ and that the crime scene there was botched as well. I agree. Big time, big time. And then he has the high dollar lawyers that got him off. You know. Yeah. Sammy kidnapped in 2002, rescued in 2003 according to Wiki. Yeah, yeah. And there were other opportunities for Elizabeth to, show herself to the police. Even in the very very beginning when she was taken, he had her crouch down and get down. And a police officer drove by it, but he just told her, he's threatening her, and told her that if she makes a peep, then he's going to hurt her, right? He's going to take her life. And, no doubt she was probably scared, completely out of her wits. Um, That's true. Rogue says, well, you cannot work sloppy and get lazy. The same goes with any job in law enforcement. Yeah, and any job really anywhere. It's just anything you do. You're right. You have to be present and aware of what's going on. Um, oh yeah. Sammy says, Rogue, I remember left home with the girlfriend. Dad was at work. Brick was propping up the open the door, and wasn't that a mobile home also? I believe it was. Yeah. Yeah, I believe it was. Oh, that is very possible. I am too, Bear. Very possible for the postpartum depression. Yeah, and then of course not to have somebody who is kind of supportive, right? I have to say I don't want to bash the stepdad, Daniel, but if his wife had just had the baby, maybe he could have been more helpful with the other two children if she was experiencing that. But, that is a strong possibility. And, um, I don't discount that. Sorry about that. I thought I was going to sneeze. The father's girlfriend who was watching her. Oh, okay. Yes. Yes. I wonder if someone took a cadaver dog past a retention pond again, if it would hit on it. I don't know. That's a good question, Sasha. The tip of my tongue. Somebody was talking about the other day and said she left young and came back grown or something, so I wasn't thinking she had been gone a long time. Yeah, well, and I mean, yeah, just a year. I mean, it probably seemed like longer too, watching it back. Because I thought it was 2 years, but it said, only 1 year. I mean, which is long enough, obviously. Yeah, Rogue, I can't recall the girlfriend's name off the top of my head. Oh, Misty, Show Poodles. Okay, yes, Misty Crosslin. Thanks, hey Jude. Misty Crosslin. I think that's a good idea, Sasha. I'm about to listen to their interviews again with the crawl space in mind. Definitely. Absolutely. Oh, Detroit says yes, it was a trailer home, lots of traffic going in and out, lots of rug activity. And that's another thing that I worry about with Lily and Jack, right? Because of course we do hear that their house was quite busy, right? Lots of activity back and forth. Um, hey Vic, good to see you. Good to see you. Sorry if you were on the other stream. And I just hurried up and did a restream continued because I wanted to make sure we got back over here. But I mean, it is really interesting, when we look back on all of these other cases, because there's so many similarities. There's so many things that we can pick out and say, well, how come this happened? Or look at where this happened in this case and look at what happened here. Um, you know, there was proof of rugs, allegedly, Sasha. And that's the thing. I want to make sure that I'm getting more from the mounted police, um, in Canada than from the YouTube streets. I know sometimes sleuths can get some really good information, but again, I just don't want it to go down that path how Sebastian's did to begin with. All the wild speculations and things like that. Okay, so yeah, Hey Jude says both were um, arrested for rugs. Thanks, Hey Jude. Yeah, and I have to be refreshed on that case because it's been a little while. Um, Rogue said law enforcement confiscated rugs from the home. Yeah, and then in Lily and Jack's case also they confiscated rugs from a car as well, but they didn't specify whose. But all I can say is that if they did give um, Lily and Jack's mother a rug test, then I don't think if she would have popped dirty, they would have given her the baby, right? I think it would have been, you know, a situation where they would have taken the baby and made her get some help. And Sammy says JC Dugard was in the shed right in California. Yeah, I know she was gone a long time in years and came back grown up, and I'm thinking the person saying it meant she came back mature. Yeah, she did, and she ended up having I believe it was two children with her captor. Yeah, well, and it's kind of hard too because there were a lot of different people coming in and out and abusing JC Dugard, but yeah, she came back years later. Um, Lindsay Clancy, another one who unalived her three small children. Yes, absolutely, Meg. I remember that story too. Yeah. And of course, there are just so many out there. Yeah, Ronald Cummings and Misty Crossland went to jail for rugs. Yeah, yeah, but then they still never did anything with that case either. Oh, wow, show poodles. And Misty is in jail until 2031. Wow, that is something. I don't know. And see, that's another thing I was wondering too, Sasha. I'm not sure if they found, because they were talking about paraphernalia, is what they were saying. And Detroit Rock City says, yes, the father married her, so she had his name. He was hoping to keep her close and would find out what happened to Haley. He ended up divorcing her after she tried to flip on him, allegedly. Oh, okay, Detroit. See, I didn't know about that part. Oh, yeah, we got to say rugs. I know, I accidentally say it too, Sasha. I know. We don't want to get in trouble again, guys. No, I really don't think that was you guys at all. At all. I probably just played too long of a clip that I didn't alter enough. Megan L says postpartum psychosis. She was a maternity nurse and been to 2 centers for depression after delivering her third child. Okay. Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. And, that plays a huge part in it. Yeah, really strong possibility. Yeah. And their baby was, a little over a year old. Who knows what anymore? The whole world has gone batty. I agree, Rogue. I agree completely. Andrea Yates, show poodles, absolutely. And Andrea Yates thought that she was doing right by her babies, right? She was under the impression, and she had postpartum psychosis, no doubt. Living in that van, her husband, you know, um, not believing in birth control, right? And then she continues to have these babies, and she's, getting deeper and deeper into the psychosis. And she really believes that her babies are not going to go to heaven if they get older, that she needs to take their lives while they're innocent, and legitimately did that, systematically one by one to her children. Yeah, same as Andrea Yates. Yep, show poodles, absolutely. Yeah. Detroit Rock City says Misty said a friend of the father took Haley because he came to pick up a gun and it wasn't there, so he took her in trade, and that's the most recent story / lie. Yeah, okay. Oh my goodness. And see, that's another consideration. We don't know if these children are being sold away by their own parents. I have it under, a strong authority that may have been um, what happened to Summer Wells. Um, yeah. So, Hey Jude says, I saw a woman with PPP. It's a terrible thing. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's really, really sad, especially if they're not getting help and then they're, having to have more kids and more kids and more kids because that's, not helping the situation. It's making it worse. Their hormones are completely out of whack, things like that. And Rogue says it's so sad and scary things for these poor babies. I know, absolutely. Absolutely, Rogue. And, just understanding, women's mental health is really important, especially when it comes to that subject, in my opinion. Um, oh, the Bubba guy. Yeah, rug traffic. Yep, yeah, but I remember correctly, he pled guilty. Mm. Sammy says, "Oh, I didn't know that they divorced, but I remember when they married because they were like on the show, Today Show or something. Can you can y'all tell I never turned the TV off?" Sammy, that's funny. Yeah, but I missed that part too myself. Um, oh yeah, Meganell says, I think Chloe Driver has postpartum psychosis as well. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. Yeah. And it's not as rare as we think it is. I don't think we hear about it enough to understand it even. Um, Rogue, I agree. These parents tend to change stories so much. If they're guilty, why would they have uh to lie? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's no reason to lie. You would want the truth to be told so that way you could find, your child. Absolutely. And I felt that with Seth, when he was talking as well. Um, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. No, Rogue. I know what you mean. And that's why I wanted to kind of do some comparisons with Seth and bring him in because it kind of shows the big difference, right? Um, absolutely. Oh, yes. Hey, Jude, remember baby Gabriel case in Texas? Yes. Yes, I do. I do remember that case. And, how about the moms that, what is it, Alexi Treviso? She was one who, got her baby, threw him in the hospital trash, you know what I mean? It's crazy. And Sammy says the lady a few houses up the street from me growing up did the same thing to two daughters two separate times. Had life without parole, but the governor just commuted or sentenced and she got paroled. Wow, that's interesting. Well, and like Andrea Yates, she went to the mental hospital, and she's staying there, she just has decided to stay there. Um, yes, I used to watch Nancy Grace every single night on HLN. Yeah, yeah, me too. And I used to watch her court show. Oh gosh, I forget what it was called. Um, my digga's so spoiled. I just walked in the bathroom and the rug was all padded up. And she stood there and I pulled it out and straightened it and then sat down. The floor, it's cold, Mom. Aw, Robini. That's cute. A Stolen Life. Okay, I'll have to read that. Ugh. Rogue, I meant to type innocent. What would I put in guilty? Oh my goodness. Well, guys, I'm gonna go and see what happened to my stream, and I will re-put it up and see if I have to put out little, if I have to add some memes into it or something like that. Um, so let me see what I will have to do to get back up and running. Like I said, I think you guys are right. I think it probably had to do more with me playing too much of a long clip from the A&E. Hey Jude says my pup is spoiled rotten. Detroit Rock City says my granddaughter's mother was manic and threatened to throw the baby out of the window. Oh my goodness, she refused to bathe or dress her and would just let her cry. She was a newborn and I had to step in and take over. Oh, Detroit, I'm so glad you were there. You know, and it's so sad. You know, mothers need extra help. I think it does take a village, and I think it's important to remember that everybody needs help sometime. You know what I mean? Especially if you're overwhelmed, it's okay to ask for help, but it's really taboo. I think when it comes to just, you know, being a mother, everybody thinks you should just know what you're doing. When some people have never babysat or never taken care of kids before and stuff like that. So it's, you know, it's crazy, you know, that people will shame somebody for helping, you know, and getting the help that they need. Um, YouTuber says in the middle of rewatching Small Sacrifices, Diane Downs story, but would love to read the book next on my list. Oh, that sounds really, really good. I need to watch that. Um, oh, Meg, baby Quentin. Absolutely. Well, and that was a crazy one too, because, you know, I mean, poor little Quentin. It's just awful. And, you know, it's the weirdest thing because she said that she, you know, Leilani was saying that Quentin looks just like his dad, but, you know, I think he looks just like his mom. Quentin looked just like Leilani. I mean, uncanny resemblance. Um, oh, Skylar Richardson was her name, I believe, Sammy. Reminds me of the cheerleader that buried her baby in the backyard. Yeah, Skylar Richardson. Yeah, yeah. And she even kind of false confessed to some of that, didn't she? Like they were saying they were like coaching her and she said like she had burned up her baby, but she really didn't. Um, yeah. Oh my goodness, Detroit. Well, I'm just glad you were there. Oh my goodness. Ugh. So glad you were there because they're, you know, people need people. Yes, and Leilani had a 13-month-old. Yeah, or so. Yeah. Yeah, she did. She did. And then they were going down to the babysitters. Yep, sure did. Yeah. I can't remember what Leilani said happened. Did she say he ran off or was taken or what? But well, she said a lot of different things and then she wasn't wanting to talk to the media and she was getting like high and drunk and all kinds of stuff. She was in bad shape. She was in bad shape. Luckily she was just convicted not too long ago, so um, you know, good thing there. But all right, guys, thank you all so much for being here. Again, I was so glad to be with you guys tonight and definitely say prayers for all of our friends. And, you know, I love you guys so much and I will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you all so much. Good night. Good night. Sleep tight, Rabini. Yeah, she said she woke up and the door was open and he was gone. Yep. Yep. Thanks, Meg. Yep. That was her story at first, too. Um, you know, and the fake crying and all that. Um, hey, Social Butterfly. I know I'm so sorry about the other stream. I'm gonna have to figure out what happened there. I have a pretty good idea. Oh, thank you, Vic. Thank you guys so much. Thank you all so much for being here. Thanks, Detroit. Oh, good. Oh, she's 17. Oh, Detroit says she's 17 and will graduate next summer. She's in a school for gifted children. Oh, that's fantastic. See, that is so fantastic. Oh, Django likes it. Here he comes. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. I will see you all tomorrow. That's great news, Detroit. And like I said, I'm so glad that you were there. Bye, guys. I love you all. Thank you.